Today's episode is brought to you in part by philpmarchingfx.com. With 20 years' experience designing for your indoor and outdoor marching arts teams, their passion is to help creatively showcase your performers while making performances memorable for your audiences. For drill, staging, prop fabrication, and so much more, check out philpmarchingfx.com. That's PHILP marching, the letters fx.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flags in a Gym, a podcast dedicated to all things color guard. My name is Eric. I'm your host and resident color guard nerd. And for today's episode, I had the pleasure of sitting down with some of the staff of our reigning Independent Open Champions, Third Legend. We had a wonderful conversation talking about the differences and difficulties of being a Canadian guard, their 2025 program and WGI experience, licking trophies, COVID shutdowns, and preparing their transition to world class and more. So sit back, relax, and let's talk some color guard. Hello, welcome. How are you?
Hi. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am sitting down with some of the staff of your 2025 Independent Open Champions Third Legend out of St. Eustache, Quebec, Canada. So before we get started, why don't we take a moment to introduce ourselves? Carolyne, why don't you go first?
Yes, I'm Carolyne. I started doing the Runcorn when I was 13 years old in 1994, which is, I know, it's a while back, you know. I marched a couple of years with Académie Musicale. Then the group folded, unfortunately. Then I went to Kiwanis Cavaliers. That's where we met. I marched a season with Les Eclipse World in 98. But I wasn't in the town. It was hard for me to get to Montreal, so I couldn't march the following year. But then I marched until 2001 with you, right? Yeah. So until I was 21 years old. Then I went off to do lots of theater and musical theater. And I went back to the activity at 31 in 2012 because in Canada, as a French Canadian, we can, there's no age limit for us. So no age limit, meaning that I could march open class and like at 31, marched there for 4 years. And while there, I did DCA as well. So 2 more years of drum corps, which was really, really great. So I got techniques from a little bit all over, which was great. And and then I started teaching Third Legend in 2016. And I've been with the team ever since because my body was like telling me I'm too old to march. So yeah, almost 10 years soon.
Yeah, and you are a saber queen, right? You love saber.
Yes, I love saber. I love saber. The more saber, the better I feel.
Kevin, how about you?
My resume is not quite as long. I started marching in 2006. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, we need another person for this Memorial Day parade." They handed me a flag and an orange shirt, and I went and did the parade. And then, and then since then, I did my high school marching band and winter guard. That's a Union Endicott High School. I graduated in 2008, took a few years off, and then I joined Luminosa Winter Guard in 2000 and the 2012 season.
They were out of Buffalo, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we were in IA for 2012. We got 4th. And then in 2013, we got the gold medal. So it was funny because that was my age out. So I got like a little bonus year in open class because we got promoted. So I marched my open class age out. And then from then on, I just taught at Batavia Winter Guard and Third Legend.
So how did you get up to Canada?
So in 2014, during my age out, we were competing against Les Eclipse, which is where Carolyne was marching. And Vincent, our director at Third Legend. I met him there through competing against him, and we started dating that summer, and we were married in 2016. So that's when I moved to Canada.
Awesome. And Vincent, you and Vincent are kind of like the director, co-director of Third Legend, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So we're co-general directors, and so yeah, like I married into it. I'm like the nepotism hire.
That's awesome. No, I love that. Let's talk about Third Legend just kind of as a structure. So, from what I was reading, it started out as a drum corps, correct? And then the drum
Yeah,
corps folded.
did way back,
Yeah,
way,
way
way
back.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Troisième Régiment. I'm French
Yeah.
Canadian. Sorry for the accent. But yeah, Troisième Régiment. And it was yeah, way back. There's a lot more drum corps in Quebec back then. Now there's only one left, but yeah, it was pretty popular way back.
Because there was Les Stentors, right? And was there Les Etoiles? Was that a drum corps?
Oh yeah, Les Étoiles, L'Insolite, Dimension, Academy Musicale, where I marched. There were so like I'm forgetting some, but
Yeah, like I feel like every city, every like neighborhood
yeah.
almost had its own little drum corps, like
And there are
and a
old
lot of
school
them,
ones too,
yeah,
like
exactly.
Les Châtelaines de Laval. I remember that, all girls. Like there's a
Yeah.
couple,
Where it
so
was like $5 a week to march the
five
summer.
dollars a week to march,
Wow.
Yeah, it was like in I feel like the 60s and the 70s where like Quebec
Hmm.
had a lot of drum corps, maybe more parade corps too. But in the 90s when I marched, there were still a couple of corps like active in DCI and going strong. But Troisième Régiment, I don't know. Do you know, Kevin, the year they I don't know the year they folded.
No, I don't either
Yeah.
actually. I'll have to look at
When did it transition over to like a winter guard program or like a color guard program, I should say?
this. It became a like their first competitive season was in 2001. They did their what's the movie called? It's a Rockin' Nun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the singing
Sister
nun.
Act.
Sister
Yeah.
Act. But yeah, so they did that. They did their first regional that year. They went and promoted themselves to open class the year after that and went to WGI and made finals. So it was kind of an exciting success right off the bat.
That's cool. And
Yeah.
so currently you have 4 programs, correct? Within the Third Legend umbrella. From when I saw there was a
Hmm.
mini, a junior, an advanced, and an elite team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So do you and Vincent manage all of them, or are you just in charge of the elite team? How does that work?
I'll like do a rundown of the structure a little bit.
Yeah.
So we have like our board of directors. We have 5 directors who sit on the board, and they're kind of the called the governing agency for the Third Legend organization. And then we have Vincent and myself, we're the general directors. So like we advise the board, they give us their decision, or they ask us to make a decision, and then we use that kind of back and forth to run the organization. And obviously, we also are the instructors, designers for the elite group, the world group. Was the open, now the world group.
That's right. World now. We're
I
in the
I
know,
world
know.
now.
Exciting. I
Finally
like
gotten
to
used to
hear
saying
it.
it.
I like to hear it. Like the sound of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're there as like a resource to help the other groups if they need it. But they each have their own like head instructor. So everyone answers to is like a stretch, but like, we help kind of like organize the structure of the organization of Third Legend, but each group operates with its own staff and its own kind of set of volunteers, and we're just there to help organize it all and like make sure that
Supervise
they
a little
have,
bit.
yeah, supervise a little
Yeah.
bit, like make sure they have practice space, make sure they're following like kind of like training the kids to move up and all those little things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so the mini team is like, in the US, it'd be like your cadet group, your juniors, kind of like middle school. Advanced is currently your independent A guard that you moved up from regional A. And the elite, as
Hmm.
we mentioned, is your now world program coming this
Yeah.
season.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Yeah, no, it is exciting. Like, because like we had 3 groups for a long time, and after COVID, we just kind of had like an explosion in membership. So we ended up starting the mini group, which is our newest team to kind of cater to that super young, like they're
They're
5 to 10 years
small.
old.
It's so cute.
Um,
It's so cute.
yeah, and then up here, cadet and novice are switched. I know some circuits do it differently. So up here goes cadet, then novice.
Yeah.
So our junior group is our novice group. They're like 10 to 13 years old. And then our A group, like you said, we moved them up the season, brought them to WGI for the first time. But yeah, they're all in that like 12 to 14 range.
So I'm curious because Canada's a completely different beast than US. Like in the US, we have color guard in school, if you're lucky enough to be involved in like the Avon, Carmel, Tarpon kind of world, you start in elementary and work your way up. But for most schools, you don't start it till high school. But it's not really a high school program in Canada. It's not a school program. So how do you bring kids in? How do you recruit? Like, how do you get these 4 programs and get them started?
I feel we recruit in like doing activities in parks, like we're doing parades. We actually have like, we don't hand out flyers anymore, but we do like speak about the kids that are interested. We tell them to come see us at like, come spin with us. We do like spin days, spin fest that we call them. So it's always, yeah, it's really a lot to organize. I would say it's a lot more to handle than just having like, a school with a program when established, like a class. It's very different. We have to really recruit out there. But also there's a lot of kids. It's a lot of like the word of mouth a lot because a lot of the kids right now are marching, but like their families have like their parents have marched before, or like moms involved in senior, and then the daughter marches with regional A program or cadets. So it's a lot of like family friends too. I feel like we see a lot of familiar faces, just the younger faces. You're like, oh, you're that kid's daughter, or you're that kid's. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I find it so cool because I remember near the beginning of the season, you all started posting on your socials, like all the guards do, meet the cast, this member. And I remember seeing somebody like had been with Third Legend for like, it was like their 18th season or something crazy like that. And I was like, and they're only like, what, like 24 years old?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Emma.
Oh yeah. Emma,
Yeah.
she started when she was so young.
8. So
Yeah.
small.
And like literally like but she's done every season since, even though she moved to Quebec City, which is like what, 2 hours away from here?
Oh, more than 2 hours, Kevin. It's like
Oh.
close to 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, anyway, still going strong. She's actually also our I'll do a shout out. She's our like designer for like graphic designer. So she's doing all of our social media posts and things like that. So shout out to Emma.
Hi,
Help
Emma.
design our floor and our
Hi,
flags.
Thanks so much.
Oh, so she helped design the floor and the flags too.
Yeah. No, she's like the floor from last year, the purple floor we used, that the A used this year. She designed that, the red floor this year. An amazing design.
That's very cool. I know AMP did something similar when they did the Joker show. That whole floor design and backdrop was designed by a member. She was a or they, I don't know. I don't know who that was, but I remember them mentioning that. So that's really cool. That's a way to use an inside resource.
No,
studies that's what she studies in school. So it's also good experience on her end. So
yeah, and she can put it in her portfolio for school.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty cool. To have won WGI with it. I mean, it's even bigger.
Right.
Exactly. Kevin, when did you and Vincent kind of take over the organization?
So in 2016, after the season was over, Third Legend asked Vincent to be their general director. He had been teaching for a few years at that point, and like he had like really good insight, and they were just like, well, it's like kind of an obvious choice to make him the director. And then at the end of that summer, I moved to Canada. So I was like helping him with things. Emma was like 12, so I was doing the graphic design at that point. And then after COVID, when the organization really grew, that's when it split into a co-director position, because there's just so much extra like logistical things to handle that like one person couldn't do it anymore.
So. It sounds like it. Yeah, if you're kind of overseeing all 4 groups, it's just that's a lot to handle.
Yeah. And like we lived together, so it was just kind of a logical choice that like, well, we're going to be working together on it anyway. Why not just make it like official that we have co-directors? And now like the head instructors that I was talking about before, that they can reach out to either of us, and we're kind of a link between them and the board when they have questions.
And Carolyne, why don't you tell us what you do on staff with Third Legend?
So I have multiple roles. No, like I mostly so I came in as a weapon tech, if I remember correctly. I started teaching like coming to see them in 2014 when Vincent and I were marching Les Eclipse together, and loved them. It's like I just fell in love with this group. Like they're so young. We have like a younger group, I feel. So we've seen them grown so much through the years. So started teaching, and then so I came in full time 2017 for as a weapon tech. But then I have a lot of interest in design, and I did theater, so I was getting involved with the design a little bit, and all the uniforms, the flags. But that's what I love about teaching at Third Legend, is that I was always like I always had a voice with them, and I could always be part of something and kind of be part of the whole, of more than just teaching the sabers how to catch their six, or five or four. But it started with triples and quads when I got there, and they were A class, so we had to kind of start back to roots, get a technique in there. So but I do get involved with I love uniforms and picking fabrics, picking the design, choosing like what would fit them well, because I marched a couple of years in the States, or like Ontario, Canada, where it's not always they all don't always put like all the body types forward and like to their advantage. So I like to make sure that all members feel comfortable in their skin and their uniform. So
Absolutely. You and I marched together in one of the ugliest uniforms I've ever worn.
oh, like ugliest, guys. Think ugly, then go up a notch.
Yeah.
And that's when you
Or
get,
two.
or a notch or three. It is so bad. I mean, yeah. And remember what happened during that summer. One of the instructors just cut them. He cut the uniforms one night. He's like, I'm sick
Oh
of
my
it.
gosh.
Just
Yeah.
cut
The
it.
caption had this dream uniform that it was like his bucket list uniform. It was hideous. I can't even describe it. It was like crushed burgundy velvet with this purple like royal jester like poof on the shoulder and chains across the chest, and it was so awful. And he left. He was there for pre-tour and everything, and then he left, and then one of our techs was kind of running the color guard, and when he was gone, he's like, no. And he literally ripped the uniforms up, completely redesigned them. So we ended up just kind of in a burgundy crushed velvet with some silver accents.
Asymmetrical kind of dresses for us. It was way better, way better. But I remember feeling ashamed because I always marched in like a Canadian color guard, and I guess I was privileged to have really kind of good uniforms. But then I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst uniform of all times.
It was so bad.
We did the Europe tour in that one. Yeah, I felt bad.
I can't relate. I came from the generation where they were like, oh, you're a boy, here's your black shirt and your jazz pants.
That drives me crazy.
Just go blend in somehow.
Just go blend in.
Get the Walmart black pants and a quasi matching shirt. Oh, the girls are in blue here. This is blue enough here. Why don't you wear this?
Right. Yeah, no, exactly.
Oh, mercy.
No, but yeah, I don't even have a picture. I mean, I like of how bad it was. But we should get on that to find one picture.
We need to find one, yeah. There might be one out there. Does Kiwanis still have like even like a Facebook page or a website up or anything? Like, is that archived anywhere?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
We'll go to the alumni for that picture.
Are there any other main staff members you kind of want to give shout outs to, that maybe just have really, really helped improve the program? I know you have a lot of staff, so you don't have to list everybody.
Oh, yeah.
But
everyone helped so much this year. I feel like it's Kevin and Vincent were really in charge of design this year, so but we all stepped worked. Everyone, just shout out to everyone.
I mean, in the open, I feel like our young staff really stepped up. We have Aaron, Titi, Florence. They all really grew into their staff positions this year. Julie, who's our dance instructor, really bringing people who might not have ever danced before and making them world champions in dance. Like it's it's something.
We had new members this year, so they had
and Jenna and Cynthia, Jenna, great weapon tech when she was able to come up, and Cynthia brought a new perspective. So yeah, really great. And like, another shout out just to our other staff for like the other groups, the mini staff. Those kids are young. Like they have
Well, they're young. It's like,
unending patience. Like
yeah.
it's only a 2 hour practice, but I feel like, I mean, I couldn't do it. So big props to the mini staff.
I completely understand. Like my daughter's still in daycare, like she's moving into
Oh,
public school in August. But I
oh
show
yeah.
up and I'm like, I don't know how you all do this.
I
Like the
know, I
patience you all
know.
have. I couldn't imagine teaching a 7-year-old color guard. Like I could
They're,
not.
7-year-olds, like try 5 and like
Yeah, like here's your 5 foot pole.
is your
I know you're only
kindergarten.
2 feet tall, but yeah, and then like our novice staff always come with really creative ideas, and our A staff, like preparing the future for the elite. Everyone's doing a good job with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So this was Third Legend's 25th year in existence, and you
Yeah, yeah,
win WGI on your 25-year milestone.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
crazy coincidence.
Was 2017 your first WGI, like as a instructional team?
Yeah, it was the first year for all the new era, would say new generation of
Mhm.
the legend.
And were you in A or open at the time?
A class.
A
Yeah,
class, which I love, by
yeah,
the way. I
yeah.
love
Oh
it.
my gosh,
I
love it.
I do enjoy that category a lot. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, there was some really good shows this year too.
And when did you move to open?
So
Uh,
we made finals 3 times in a row in A class. 2019 was our third time making finals. So we got
Oh,
promoted after that season.
that fun rule.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny because we were on the bus on the way back, and like the sign above the border, like the lane for the border said open. Yeah, I just
yeah.
went, oof, open. And it was just kind of like this wake up call at midnight
Right.
on the way back home from finals, where we were all like, okay, yeah, we have to be ready for open class next
You
year.
could also take it that was your sign it was meant to be, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
exactly. We see a lot of signs everywhere on
yeah,
television.
yeah.
Like, oh, okay, quick story. So, we see signs and so this summer we all went together, Erin, Kevin, Vincent, and we went to Allentown to see some of our members perform with the drum corps that were in Allentown. And so one night got canceled, Saturday got rained out, so we had to go do something, and we went to this what
Hibachi
Korean
restaurant,
barbecue? Yeah,
a hibachi Japanese restaurant. Yeah.
exactly. And you know how they throw like the little corn that you have to catch in your mouth?
Yeah.
We all cut the corn. I swear, like the 4 of us sitting down. So Erin catches it. I'm like, ooh, okay, I have to do it. And then I catch it. Like I get it. Then hey,
I think it
Kevin, will
was
you do next?
Vincent and then
Vincent,
me.
and then Kevin. I'm
Yeah,
like, what are you doing? As a big joke. Because we
yeah.
like fines and we're just like, okay, this is it. We're making finals. We're making top 10, but we did say GI. And I'm like, well, well, something came.
Oops.
So funny
Yeah.
story.
Okay, so you get promoted to open class right into the COVID year.
Yep.
Exactly.
How did that
Yeah.
affect like up in Canada? Because we know the
Oh
whole world
man.
was a disaster, but how did that affect
It
the Canadian Guard?
Oh, we were a
so
disaster.
it was, yeah. So I think, it was like mid-March when everything shut down. And like it was like it shut down on Monday, and we were like, oh, we'll do one last rehearsal, do a last run through, and put everything away. We weren't even allowed. We weren't allowed to leave our
Yeah,
houses. We were
yeah,
forbidden from seeing people outside of our
yeah.
family. And it was supposed to be 2 weeks. It lasted for like a year and a half.
Oh,
Um, and then, we thought we were going to be able to start the following season. We even did social media posts about staff and our like open house auditions. Um,
we had
and
our
we start,
show like
yeah, we had a
designed.
show picked out and
Yeah,
everything. But like the day after, I think the day after our open house is when they announced like all activities have to be
yeah.
canceled as of like the end of October or beginning of October. So it was just like another season completely lost.
We were on lockdown a lot.
I
Like,
mean, yeah, I mean, we ended up salvaging the season a little bit. We did virtual solos. So
yeah,
like,
exactly.
on our YouTube, you could check out like the virtual solo page, and like it's
But
kind of like
technically, we wouldn't have not been allowed all in the same room. We were like not posting. We were like staying away because
right, yeah.
we had special permission from the city. Like it was stressful. It was like
Yeah.
we were like, I think it was fine because it was like 8 or 10 maximum at that point or something. Like we had so many rules, Eric.
Well,
It was
because we were doing like it was like we were doing video photography, something like which was like an activity that the government was allowing at the time, but we
yeah,
all had to wear masks. We had to stay 2 meters
oh yeah.
apart. We only had the facility for like I forget however many hours, but each member who was doing a solo, and we had like 9 or 10
Yeah.
solos to film.
They
Each
had to
each
come in
member
and
only had
leave.
like 20
Yeah,
minutes or 30
yeah.
minutes to
Oh
do their
yeah, that's
solo.
Oh, they
crazy.
had like their own window and then
They
they had to
had
get out.
their windows. They
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, we had like 2 floors that they could choose from. There was like a black floor or like a beige floor, and we would like just like turn them between. They had to let us know beforehand which one they were using.
we made a schedule to make sure that they know when to arrive, when to get warmed up a little bit, and they could never like it was a lot of
Yeah. Like we made do, and we did a lot of like virtual rehearsals that season. We actually had like I think it was 5 new members because it was the graduates from Carpe Diem,
right, right.
which is like the one scholastic program here in Montreal that like their season was cut short, their senior season.
Yeah, I felt bad for all those seniors that lost out
I
on
know,
their,
right?
especially because it
Yeah,
was like 3 weeks before Dayton. They're like, yep, nope,
No,
everything's called off.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And when we came back the following year after the dead year of like 2021, then nothing happened. We started off the season, but Quebec, only Quebec, not the rest of Canada, but the province of Quebec went on lockdown from January to mid-February.
Yeah.
So we
Oh,
didn't
it was
have,
December.
right? No,
Yeah.
that's like, we were active that year. We did Once It Was Love. We made finals by like, we were 15, but we made it. But we rehearsed in the fall, like kind of normal. I think we were on and off. Like, I don't think there was a
Um,
big lockdown. Was there a big lockdown in
there were
No,
rules. We had to
there
wear
were rules,
masks during
exactly. Oh, yeah, we
rehearsal,
yeah, yeah,
6 feet, 2 meters of distance
yeah.
between people. So,
We couldn't eat at the same, we had to eat in the gym to make sure that no one was sitting close by at a table.
mhm.
Oh, we had someone from the school coming in too, even, I think,
Oh
to
yeah,
oversee
like
and
a
kind of
like a
supervise the
supervisor.
whole
oh, to
thing
Yeah,
make sure you weren't breaking the
to
rules.
make sure we weren't
yeah,
breaking the
yeah.
rules. But then in January starts show season. Oh no, not for Quebec, because all activity are like ceased.
Was there like an
Canceled.
outbreak or what was the
There was,
reason
yeah.
behind the shutdown?
The Omicron wave came in,
Oh yeah,
and
right.
the government just shut everything down again.
For a
We
month
had to
and a half.
cancel. Yeah, we had to cancel our all of our January rehearsals,
Yeah,
our Salem
regional.
Regional. Cancel the Salem Regional. WGI said, okay, well, let's sign you up for I forget which the next one was, like Philly or something. And we had to cancel
Couldn't
that
do
one
it
too.
again.
And
Okay.
then we were on our way to Bethlehem, and that gets canceled for weather.
Ugh. God.
But we couldn't go back to Canada because we had to take COVID
The
tests
COVID
to go
test.
back
So
across the
yeah,
border.
and we had to wait,
So
so it's at least 24 hours.
mhm,
So
we kind of were just stuck in New York State with nowhere to go. So we started making some calls. I called our friends at Batavia, and there was a show in like Medina, New York, and they talked to the organizer. They got us in for the competition, and then so we practiced in Batavia the next day on Saturday. We called it WGI Medina all
I
season
know.
because it wasn't a regional or anything, but a local competition where our kids got to perform for the first time since
Yeah.
March 2020. It's 2 years later.
That's
And
crazy.
I think that was was that our only show before WGI?
We had one other show in Quebec in
Quebec, yeah,
Victoriaville
that's it.
before we went to WGI. So there were kids on that team who had never done a regional before, and their first WGI performance was open class prelims in the UD Arena.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah,
It's like, yay. Yeah. And
yeah.
if you like, you haven't seen our gym in Quebec, but they're quite small. So like going from
Yeah.
our gym to that space was quite like, we had some looks.
Some, yeah, like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what
Oh my
is
God, oh my
this?
God, oh my God. I'm like, No, it's just like Saint Eustache. Just put
Yeah, it's
yourself back
just
in.
like it. It's
It's
the
all
same.
good. It's all
Same thing.
good.
Okay, the
No
lights are a
one's
little
gonna
different,
stand.
and they're
There's like 30,000 seats, but
But all
not that much.
empty because it's
yeah, at
like
least they were
early
empty.
morning.
It's like 11:30 in the morning or something.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
That
So that was 22.
Yeah.
was 2022. Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2025 this year, you come out, show up at the Salem Regional. I fell in love with you there. And I was just like, this is really good. And you fast forward to Dayton and you win. Was
Yay.
was it? I mean, outside of the hibachi moment, did you expect to be so successful this year? Like, was there something that was like you just there's something in the air where you're like, these
Yeah.
kids really have it, or I just have a really good feeling about this year. Like, did it lock in early?
It was certainly, how can I say this? Oh, here's my English coming all at once with all words that I want to say. We certainly knew in Salem that when we saw the performance, I don't know, like for you, Kevin, but like I was like, okay, we could sort of feel something special coming from everyone in at that regional, I would say. Like people were coming to us like nothing like the previous years, right? So we kind of knew, and the first time we saw it from upstairs as well, in a like a regional in a good space, it felt really good, I will say. It was like every regional victory or like every regional we won was like not a surprise, but we all cherished those moments because we didn't know. Because WGI, you get there and you never know where you're at. You
Yep.
rarely stay in first, like, you're not like stay in your
Mhm.
rank. It's very rare. So we were kind of always expecting to be, either like to be beaten by one group. We watched JMU, like we watched all the shows out there. So we were kind of expecting, like, oh, this group's really good. Oh, this is so good from them. So we were never expecting to win, always super surprised, not surprised, super happy about it. Very, very glad that our ideas were working and getting out there. And when it's funny because when the podcast was out, we were like, oh my gosh, she got the show. Like that's kind of how you know that your recipe works because everyone
Mhm.
that reads the show can they get it on the first read. For me,
Yeah.
that feels so special, very special.
Yeah, I think because it was the 25th anniversary, we kind of set out to make the season special. I don't think we quite expected like a medal and a trophy to be the way that it would
Mhm.
happen. But like we chose like a third legend, we love a love show, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So
we do.
we chose the love show, we chose a an artist from Quebec, Celine Dion, like it was a choice. Like we kind of made all the choices to make sure that the season would be special, if not
Mhm.
just for the members, for kind of the third legend community. Um, and the stars kind of aligned. We had like a really good synergy with the members. I think once
Oh
we really
yeah.
started
Yeah.
designing the
Yeah.
show,
Yeah.
that's when it felt like, wow, we really have something special here. From the first rehearsal, we're like, wow, they are taking on like the characterization.
Yeah,
They're
and
really like telling the story already, and we only caught 30
exactly.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the members they were just embracing this whole storyline and they were not, like sometimes you get like a concept like kids and they're not sure how to, like feel it. And because I come from
Hmm.
theater, so I like everything with intention. I love when they know what they're doing and they just embrace the concept so much. And they were so good. And the benches, they got on it and they were so brave. The members did great with everything we threw at them. We threw so much at them this year. And it was just a really great
Yeah.
synergy with the staff
And
and members. And we had a lot of fun as well. Like it was a very, very great year.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I think
yeah,
you can't go wrong with using Celine. I mean, let's be real.
Exactly.
Everybody loves Celine, right?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Is that song hers, or is that like kind of like a popular song that she just happened to cover?
It's a cover. I don't know if it's the original. Was Jacques Brel the original?
Jacques
I
Brel
think
is the
I
original.
think so,
I will
right?
say. I think so. Don't quote me
Yeah,
on this one,
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so because like we had been Vince and I have been thinking about using that song for a while, like since COVID actually. Like it was one of our like, oh, should we come out with this after COVID? But we always kind of put it on the back burner because we had other ideas, we had other things we wanted to try. But then last year, towards the end of the season, we started thinking about like, okay, so what do we do for next year? And it's the 25th anniversary. We want to make it a special season. And so like we kind of started thinking, okay, well, let's do a French song. Let's really kind of appreciate our culture a little bit, you know?
Yeah, go full Quebec, right?
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
exactly.
uh, but yeah, and then that's kind of like we went from there. That's how we started thinking about the song, and then we started thinking about like, okay, what do the lyrics really say? We looked into English versions of the song, but when we found Celine's cover of the
Yeah.
song, and
And I
then
was sold. I was like, yep,
yeah,
this is it. We cannot, let's not use anything else.
and there was like
But
the violin version, and that was
oh yeah,
great.
there's a yeah.
So
We did look for a lot of versions
oh
of
yeah, I had a whole playlist of just this song in the
just
two languages.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Celine always brings the emotion. When I was looking for the song after I saw you all perform, I'm like, okay, I know this is Celine. I looked it up, but I found a version by Cynthia Erivo. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's a very heavily covered song, which was surprising.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'd never heard of this before. Yeah, I think Celine's a great idea. And yeah, just you can just use her track. You don't need to mix it with anything. Now you did have a pre-show song, and Caroline, I think you're telling me that was like an Edith Piaf song, right?
Yeah,
Or
it's a Piaf. It's the song that Celine sang at the Olympics.
and she sang
So
that this past Olympics.
yeah, the past Olympics. So she sang it in Paris and the for the opening ceremony. So it's just and it's a song that I mean it resonates in Quebec a lot because people like do know that song a lot. So it was kind
Mhm.
of perfect for us as well to bring a culture into it. So nobody had to like all know about it, but for us it was kind of special and it sets the tone for the kind of show we wanted to put out there, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Why don't you walk people through the concept or story? I know it's not a overly complex story like some shows can get
Oh yeah.
very deep. Um, but like kind of what's the concept of the story, what the benches represent, and we will talk a little bit more about the benches in a minute because I got to get on one of those. But why don't you walk us through just kind of like the basic run of the show? Like,
When we first thought of the idea, we were thinking about using a different prop completely. It was going to
Oh yeah.
be a trapeze. Like that was like
Right.
the
Yeah.
the like pie in the sky version of the idea
oh, you got to tell me more
where
about
like
this. This is fascinating. And trapeze.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah.
So like, they like if you go away is the translation of Ne me quitte pas. It's like the so like, trapeze artists, they're constantly going towards each other and away from each other. And there's this idea of like motion and balance, which is really kind of like a metaphor for a relationship generally. But like over the summer, we had to kind of like make our idea more realistic. Like we didn't want to be like, and then WGI passed all those new safety rules, which we appreciate. And we don't have any trained trapeze artists that we could
Yeah.
tap into. That's when we were like, okay, so what can we look at to kind of have the same motion, balance, equilibrium idea that kind of reflects the relationship, you know? And so we started doing research. We were inspired by a lot of groups that have like other props that they use.
Yeah.
But I guess that's more like the prop side. The concept of the story was really this idea
Mhm.
of someone's begging their partner to stay with them, and we don't know how the other partner feels based on the song.
Yeah,
So
you
we
said,
kind of
please
got
don't
to
leave me. Oh.
exactly, but we can invent that other character. So in our show, we kind of have that. We have one person who's always like when you look at the bench duets, there's always somebody who's trying to keep the bench stable, trying to keep it, keep the relationship going in a way. And then the other person is leaving or making it unstable or tilting the bench or doing something in that way. So that's kind of the whole idea is that like it takes two people to make the bench balance when there are two people on it. Otherwise, it's rocking if it's by itself, or if it's out of balance, tilted, it's up on its side. All those different things that we could interpret in a way that like a relationship is really dependent on both people to be stable.
Beautiful. That's
Thanks.
exactly it, Kevin. It's like they
It's like
represent
I have to
your
go back to my critique notes to.
right. True, we're all reading our notes. Yeah.
And then you have to approach it from a color guard aspect. Like, okay, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
this
Mhm.
prop on the floor. We need to use it.
Yeah.
And I did get to stand on one at the Bethlehem Regional. And Caroline, you warned me ahead of time. They're very unbalanced. Like they didn't
Yeah.
look like it, but when
No.
you get up on them, like yeah, they're really rocky. And then you're like, okay, now shift from side to side, and it was really hard. Now I only got to do it for like all of 2 minutes, but it really made me respect and appreciate what the performers were doing on the floor. Because when you watch the show, especially the flag line, I got to give props to the flag line. They were all
Yeah.
over those benches and leaning one
Oh, they
way,
were.
throwing 45s, and then leaning the other way and catching it. And I'm just like, wow. And I feel like as a non-informed viewer, you don't think they're that hard to be on
Mhm.
until you get near them and you're like, oh, like I just loved it.
Funny story about the whole like flag line part, because the flag line, I would say, spent probably the whole first, like once the benches were ready, the flag line was on them from day one.
From day one.
Um,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden we ask, okay, Rifles, your turn to go on the benches. And like it's
They freaked
November
out.
and they're all like, oh my gosh, what do we do? So it was really
Yeah.
funny. The flags got to kind of sit back and
Yeah.
be like, well,
Flags are over in the corner
we
laughing at them.
Well, but really though, yeah, because like every time, and I think maybe it's what made the members all bond together so much. Because like for the first time, I feel like the weapons were training, right? We were training the weapons, but they were often watching the flag doing all this impressive stuff on the bench, and they were like clapping for them and like, wow, these are my friends. This is so
Mhm.
impressive. So it was always like all the lines just came in together and just saw what each and every one could do on those benches, and some had like yeah, it was for me, it was very moving. I was like, oh, they're so proud of each other. It's so cute. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, we sold the rifle and we had to kind of go baby steps with them. Like I took this one member and said, okay, let's toss a single together. Let's do this. Okay, then a double, like literally
Yeah.
until she could kind of get, I think I'm going to get this. But like I can understand because as staff members, we kind of had to get on them as well. And oh boy, was it not
We
If
did
you're
it.
going to
We did
teach
it on.
somebody how to do it, you got to get up there and do it yourself.
exactly
Yeah,
like
we did it on Friday night before rehearsal so that we, could be really confident in front of them.
or
But
just even writing movement on the like G
mhm.
and I spent I think a couple of like an hour just writing some like movement on this for two members and across that were middle point when the line was at the middle of the show almost. I just had it was a different kind of balance that I had not tried on before. And it was like forward and back. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way scarier than the sides,
The side to side, yeah.
the side to side. And I was like, oh, I was not ready for this. This was stressful. My legs were shaking. And here I am asking those two members, just now perform it. You do it. So it's but yeah, no, we have like major respect for our members this year for just being so good about this and
Courageous, really.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
They
remember
were
you telling me like early on in the season because they'd both be sitting on it and somebody would get up and forget that it's a seesaw bench and the other person would fall to the floor.
oh
It took
we
you a
had
few weeks
that
Yeah,
to
a
remember, oh,
lot
we both have to get up at the same
same
time.
times.
yeah.
We got
Teamwork
used
all
to
the
it by
time.
the end of
Yeah.
the season. We're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, up. But like beginning, people were falling left and right. It was really
Yeah, we eventually wrote it into the show. So
yeah,
someone
exactly.
getting up and the other person kind of falling off and then
Gave us ideas. Everything
yeah.
kind of gave us ideas for this. We had members playing with the bench at the end when we use the bench turning on itself and we're like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Keep it. Yeah. So it's like, it's fun. I feel like kind of everyone contributed to this beautiful show.
That's I love that. Let's talk about your WGI experience this year. So, you go into WGI seated first, wild, right?
Wild, because may I remind you that we placed 23rd last year. So we were not, we didn't make it to finals. wild. Wild is the good word.
And you performed prelims in the Nutter Center. You were in the last round, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
rounds were weird because they had like a three-way tie. So you were in the last round with like 6 people, but the round before you had
Exactly.
like 13 because it was
Yep.
with the way the
Yeah.
seedings work and everything.
Yep.
And then you're first after prelims, and then semis first again. What was that like going into finals where you're just like, oh my God, like,
I think, I mean, I'll speak for me. I think one thing that was really cool was seeing how, not for the first time, but the first really noticeable time, the kids were super, super excited to perform. They didn't seem nervous. They weren't
Oh,
like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do today? Like, oh, I
yeah.
hope I hope I catch or I hope I crush it. Like they were just excited to go out there and do their show one more time. Like, when we left the equipment tent, there was like there were a couple groups because they were lining up to go
Oh,
into the tent for
yeah.
retreat, and they were all like cheering,
Cheering
and
for us.
our kids were just so excited about it. Yeah, it was really great. Walking down the tunnel, everyone was just so there was just like an energy of excitement. The nerves, I mean, maybe there were a little bit of nerves too, but
But
it
good
was just
nerves, I feel. It was not
yeah,
like
it was
no one had fear. No one had fear. Everyone was just, like you said, like excited and happy to be there. And we were so humble too. When we came in first, like even if we were sitting in first going in, to WGI, it came in almost as a surprise that we were still in
mhm,
first in prelims. And we got to announce it at the Nunner Center
at
as
the
well.
venue.
Because by the
Yeah.
way we like by the time we like folded our floors, that we brought equipment to like the scores were out. So and we took the picture and everything, so the scores were out. So we did get to announce like directly to them at the Nunner Center before even going on the bus. And we did a little top five every day,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
but they were humble. They were not. I applaud them because they did not get into, oh my gosh, it's so stressful. I have to be better. It was always, how can we improve from last night? How can we do
Hmm.
better? And let's just concentrate on this show, on how we love each other, how we all do this once together. This is, a once in a lifetime season. It's always, and then a once in a lifetime group as well. You never perform with the exact same group of people every year. So they were troopers for this. Like they really did amazing.
Yeah.
And finals felt, I think it's the first finals we had that felt so great too. We're like, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
it like, it's gonna, let's do this. It's gonna happen. We're just gonna do the best we can do and we'll hear the results and that's gonna be it.
and thankfully for you all, you didn't have to wait very long because independent opens last. You're the last group to perform. So you perform, go pack your stuff, and you're immediately lining up for retreat.
Oh yeah.
So
We
it's not like
were
you
Yeah.
had to wait like a Scholastic Guard had to wait,
no,
through
like,
all of independent open. It's like, wow.
we
Right.
were running. Like after if you perform last, by the way, you are running to like bring the
Yeah.
equipment, like roll your flags, and it's like the guy at the retreat is like, get lined up, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a little
Like our leadership team, they were pulled aside
yeah.
to do an interview, and like they started like the retreat line started leaving, and they weren't back yet. So like I actually ran over to where they were in the tunnel still. I ran over there and I was like, hey, like retreat's starting. Do you mind if the members go join retreat? And the guy's like,
Right.
oh, so sorry. Like we were just having fun. But yeah, and then like we ended up having to like wait in the tunnel while all the retreat lines like filed out. And because we were ranking first, so we were the last people to come out of the tunnel. And so like the leadership team was just standing there waiting, and they got to like say hi and congrats to like every team that went by. It was really
Oh,
a really
that's
cool
so
moment for
nice.
them.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that. That's great.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like a kind of a new rule too. Like every group has to have a representative with
Oh
them
yeah. Yep.
for retreat to like walk out with them.
Oh,
Um, but like I don't know if it was like publicized because I feel like there weren't a lot of people. It was a cool moment that I got to witness because of that. So
But you lucky you got there. I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's nice.
but yeah, and then yeah, but just watching them like I said, interact with the other teams and just have those like those moments that I'm sure like us as performers we all had back when we were marching, like little moments where you get to like talk to the team next to you, find out why they love color guard, maybe all those little things. It was really cool watching them get to do that.
Yeah. It was a very positive. I mean, well, for sure, it's positive when you win. That's what I'm saying. But like, it was a very, very good. It's easy to say, but it was a very good vibe throughout WGI, and people were just helping out each other. Those who were maybe a little bit more nervous were calmed down by other members. With like, it was very, very good. Lots of love in that team. It was very, it was just amazing. Best experience ever.
Yeah.
What was the bus ride home like? Going home a world champion and knowing you're going into world class.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's so much to talk about, right? And all this experience, but we also were all wearing our medals, which was great. And we kept saying, "Oh my gosh, did you win?" We had to tell each other, like, is that true? Did we just win WGIs?
Yeah. And you got, obviously, so you gold medal, you get the big trophy. And before recording, you were telling me that the city of Saint Eustache, right?
Yeah.
They borrowed the trophy from you and placed it in City Hall for everybody to see. That's super cool. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that and just kind of how the city has celebrated your win?
You know, like the city is a huge supporter for their legend. They help us out with practice spaces. They help us out with like events for visibility and recruitment. So like they're a great partner for us, and I guess we are for them too, because like it's an activity that's not very common. So it's something that they can kind of put in their feather in their hat, like, oh, look what we have. And yeah, so when we got back, our president and vice president, who were the founders of Third Legend, and also I think a Third Regiment, the Drum Corps.
Regiment, yeah.
They are, they're best friends with the city at this point. So the city reached out to them and said, hey, like, would you be willing to let us borrow a medal or something that we can display in City Hall? So they gave them a medal, and they said, well, and you can like, display the trophy for a while, like tell the mayor, tell everybody. And yeah, so they had that for I think a couple of weeks. And then like, they're also planning to like appreciation post or something like that on their like city billboard.
That's awesome.
It's a really cool relationship that we have with our home city.
Yeah, I love that so much for you all, because some, especially within schools and these other independent groups in the US, like they don't get celebrated. They don't represent a town usually. So it's just like you go home with a gold medal and it's like, okay, back to work. Like nobody cares.
Yeah.
So do you all have any fun traditions for the color guard? As things you might do prior to shows, or fill us in on any fun things you all do.
So before shows, Carolyne loves to count down, and then everyone screams.
Yeah, I count down to 3 and everybody screams. I feel it's a Quebec thing too. We're not the only Quebec guard that does it, but we just scream, let it all out. Like one big shout before we get on the floor.
I think I remember that because I think I was watching the Salem Regional and your A guard was going on, and I just heard this loud scream, and I was like, "What the?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." A nice tension release. Yeah,
exactly.
Whenever we get a plaque or a trophy, we have Carolyne's favorite tradition.
Ew, big time. Say it.
So
she's like, I'm not gonna say it.
Everyone licks the trophy or the plaque or the little certificate that we get after the competition. It's a tradition that has carried over from places that I marched, I guess.
It's your fault. Pretty much.
It's my fault. But we've been more relaxed about this tradition since COVID.
Right. It's a COVID tradition.
This spot is safe. That spot. Yeah. And I'm always pretending, but that's it.
You find, and like some like lick their finger and touch the trophy instead, and we always wipe it off after, so that doesn't leave any marks. But it's just like a little, like everyone lines up outside the bus and they do this.
If you want to get on the bus, you're licking this trophy.
I was going to say, like, a big trophy like we got is fine. Like, we can all have our own
plenty of space.
Corner. But like finals plate, quite small, guys. So
or those little regional plaques,
yeah,
you get the little glass ones.
the regional, but like the WGA one is like feel like 8 by 10.
Something maybe a little less gross is that we do a lot of like sleepover camps, and it's something Third Legends kind of known for. We have access to again, thanks to the city of Saint Eustache and the director of the school we have access to an elementary school all weekend, every weekend, pretty
Nice.
much all year. So yeah, we do like our sleepover camps. Like the kids really get to know each other, and like our volunteers to come and they serve meals. It's really like it's a way for them to bond, a special touch that members appreciate in Third Legend.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great bonding experience. Like it's like drum corps. I mean, the bonds you make in drum corps sleeping on that gym floor.
And you bring you bring your bed and your mattress, your everything, toiletries for showers.
There's always that one person with the super loud air mattress that takes 20 minutes to inflate, and you're just like staring at them.
Exactly. Except it's not like 5 a.m. in the morning when you're out of the bus. It's like after rehearsal, so it's more convenient. I will say that. Less tiring than
glamping,
tour.
Color guard glamping, yeah.
Exactly.
I love that.
What's your rehearsal schedule like?
So we used to, have like a pretty standard schedule where it's like we practice every weekend and every once in a while we do a camp. But this year we actually changed that. We did a full camp every other weekend. So we start on Saturday at 9 or 10, depending, and then we go until Sunday at 4. Yeah. And we did that every other weekend from the beginning of September until December. And
December, because we had the 3 camps in December.
Yeah, we had 3 camps in December.
Are those sleepover camps?
I think 2 of them were.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look at the schedule.
I mean,
but yeah,
at least once a month. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, this year we had a couple where we couldn't sleep there because of one reason or another. So the kids all kind of went to each other's houses. I say the kids, the members. They went to their.
They're always kids to us, yeah.
No, exactly. It's in their 20s, but it's our kids.
Right. But usually, I'd say like 90% of them were sleepover camps.
For our American members as well to do every other weekend, so it's less traveling for them. So it helps out a lot.
So I do want to talk about being a Canadian guard, because when I was visiting your rehearsal, I was talking with a couple of people and they were just telling me some wild things about how Guard in Canada works. And I'm like, people need to hear this. This is what? Like, this is going to blow the people in US, their minds.
Tell.
Yeah.
You tell what they were telling you.
So they were telling me about like how shows work and just things like that. So, I mean, nothing like overly crazy, but just for me, I'm like, this is wild. Like, really, like, this is how it works. So Guard in Canada is way different. We kind of already talked about how you recruit, but what is the circuit shows like? Like because there's not a lot of color guard up there, like in the US where you have 50 schools that could descend on a competition. And I was told everyone warms up at the same time.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
So there are, the venues are not, I mean, the gyms are not they're not the same as in the US. We don't have the stands like you guys do that just can pull out. And we don't have the same structure like at all. So we don't have 2 gyms in a school. We don't have 2 rooms that have high enough ceilings for us to have a separate warm up. But I mean, so we do it during intermission, right? And it gets pretty packed because there are a lot of color guards that need to warm up. But see, for me, I like, you get used to it, and I use that time when I march to just show off. I loved it. I put myself first line. I'm like, watch me catch my saber, So it's an opportunity, I guess, to like warm up in front of people to get the nerves out. That's how I see it. But it gets pretty hectic.
Yeah.
I think I should send you a video. Like it's
I would love to share it, because I saw a little clip and I'm like, there's like 7 color guards they're all just spinning at once on a floor. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a
you
lot.
really get to know your competition.
That's so
And
true.
your circuit's fairly small, right? So the shows are like late at night. Well, I say late, but in the evening times, right?
Yeah. They usually start around, I think, usually between like 7 and 8. I feel like usually is when the first group will perform. So we don't have a ton of groups. I think we had 12 this past season in our circuit. There's three, I'd say there's 5 organizations. 3 of them have junior groups, and then the other 2 are senior only. So between those 3 organizations, it's us, Third Legend, Lazy Clips, and Sonor. They have 10 of the groups. A
It's
little
like
family.
it's family and friends, I feel, every show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy for the circuit being so small how successful you are. I mean, you all win open. You had Liz Eclipse medal and
last
Independent A
year.
last year. Sonar made finals this year in Independent A.
Oh.
I mean, percentage wise, you guys are doing really well.
True.
Yeah.
What are some of the hurdles you all have to face with being a Canadian group? Like, is it hard to travel into the US for competitions? How often are you coming in? Visa issues or anything like that, or passport issues trying to
Yeah,
get
I
in?
mean, logistics is really, and like logistics, just like say like when you like a normal color guard travels to a regional, it's just pack your stuff, get on the bus or get on your car and go. We have to make sure that everyone has a passport. Everyone's passport is not expired. Because we do have minors crossing the borders, we need documents and like letters
Parent
like that
permission.
allows, yeah, for permission from the parents. We are trying to reduce costs, so we don't have a lot of space on the bus as well. When we bring 2 groups over the borders, it's a lot of
Yeah.
logistics. But
I think
once we cross the borders, everything is fine. But it's just the exchange rate is kind of killing us.
yeah.
It's really expensive for us for that. That would be one of the biggest obstacles on our end, I would say, financially.
Yeah, I think the finance part is big because there's also
Yeah.
not a lot of charter bus companies here in Quebec that want to
Ooh, true.
let 2 drivers take a bus across the border for a whole weekend. So like our options are limited. We actually used a company this year that we had to drive to Ontario to get picked up by them.
Yeah, I remember Caroline telling me about that. You had to like drive like 2-3 hours to Ontario to catch your bus for Dayton, right?
Yeah.
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 It was like it was a good 2 hour drive for a lot of us. But like it's like it's easier to do that than, or it's more economical, I should say, to do that
Yeah.
than pay the
Hmm.
extra $5,000-6,000 that it costs to get a company to pick us up in Montreal.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then it brings back like financial, like the exchange rate. Like whenever we want to print flags, like print a floor, and then we have to like think about the shipment where we send it because we can't have all those expenses add up in our budget. So it's
Mhm.
really yeah, we don't have all the same resources, not resourceful. Sorry.
I mean,
Yeah, I
we
completely
have a
understand. 'Cause I
we have a
sent you
great
all a
partnership.
package and
Oh,
I was
sorry.
going to send it to Montreal.
Right,
They
exactly.
wanted $300 to send it. And I was like, I'll
Oh,
send it to your hotel in Dayton for $20.
exactly. You're so
It's
cute,
gonna
by the
say
way. I love
Oh,
it.
you
we
still have
have
it.
Oh yeah, well for sure. It's up in my little gallery right next to my medal.
I just want to say we have a great partnership with DPG, so our flags aren't too
Um,
expensive. Just want to plug
yeah, they're
that
so
in. But
Thank
they're
you,
so nice.
DPG.
Like
Yes.
they're really like they're kind of saving us, DPG.
yeah,
They're
no,
really great and
they're
they
happy to
allow
work
us
with us
to,
too.
yeah, because for us it's a huge difference.
Our circuit here, they like help us process orders so that we're getting like a good like shipping rate and stuff like that. So that helps too. But yeah, getting to the US it's usually like a transportation problem. Like, and we can't bring certain foods across, so we have to buy the food there. And because like, our volunteers make a lot of meals for the kids.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember them
regionals.
making when the practice I went to, I remember they were cooking for them. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you didn't want
So
our food. We offered.
You did offer, but see, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I always politely decline because it's not for me. And I'm like, I'm
But
not gonna be that person that I'm like, you
yeah.
had like 10 volunteers there, plus the staff, plus the performers. I'm like, yeah, give me food. Then turn around and the one of the kids like, I didn't get any food. And I'm sitting there with a plate. I'd feel terrible. So I'm like, I always politely decline. Like it's like, thank you so
Uh,
much. But
but yeah, and for me, like something we did talk a lot about the finances in general, but like recruitment is always like we have to go above and beyond to recruit like at a young age so they can stay like with us for a while because we don't have marching bands, right? We don't have color guards in the schools and in scholastic. We had one group, Scholastic, and hopefully will be back. So it's not
Mhm.
like we can recruit and from any group out there or any marching bands. It's not like we can hand out flyers because nobody knows what color guard is in Quebec. So you
Right.
all have to promote the activity. Like you're like it's a
Mhm.
discipline mixed with like dance and equipment and a little bit of theater. It's like you have to make it look like accessible. And then most, like a lot of kids, once they start singing and they see it, it's great, but you have to get them there, which is really because there's
And the
no,
parents too.
yeah, get the parents. There's no marketing. There's no window for us. Like nobody knows what it is in Quebec.
Mhm.
So it's for I think it's the biggest
Hurdle for us.
yeah, well, one
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
believe that. I mean, you're not like, you look at Phoenix or Levoot, that were the top three with you. I mean, they go to
Yeah,
their circuit
exactly.
shows and there's all those high schoolers. I want to march there. It's
And
easy
they
for them to
have
get people in.
they have actual auditions,
Right.
which we might have this year and then super like excited about. But like audition for us, like back then, like 26, like 16, 17, 18. It's a big word because it's ultimately all of our past members and maybe newcomers that want to try it. But it's
Mhm.
not like we're going to get someone that has, from out of state, like Texas, that's going to come march for us. There's no other group to
Yeah. Yeah, because we talked about the other organizations, like they have their own feeder groups too. So
exactly. Yeah.
it's not like you march at Sonor A and then you move up to another organization. Like you stay with Sonor A and then Sonor wants to build their A. They want to be successful. So they're not
Oh,
gonna graduate or whatever you want to call it
yeah, yeah.
from Sonor or Lace Eclipse or Third Legend and then go to one of the other ones.
And with there being no age limit, they don't have to leave, right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Some crazy
Yeah.
people can march at 31. Not
I think
recommended, though, I'm gonna say.
Because I would
Feedback.
think if there was like an age limit, somebody in Sonar A could be like, okay, well, I'm aged out. I can go over to Third Legend because they're world, but that doesn't exist up in Canada.
No, it does not.
right. I think there aren't as many age outs in the groups as people might think. Like it's not just all the 35-year-olds marching in our open groups, but like
No, 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 not at all.
yeah,
Like our group is pretty
like
young. It's almost
yeah,
all
yeah.
in age. We didn't have any age. Did we have? We didn't have any age outs this year. Actual age outs.
I think I mean we've had like one
Oh yeah.
one for each season maybe since
Why?
2023, I think.
Mhm.
Um, but like usually, people get to that age and like naturally their lives are just changing. So they're gonna move on or they want to start teaching or something. So, now that we're in world, maybe some of them want to come out of retirement, but
Yeah,
but
that's gonna be fun
it's gonna be
to
fun,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Carolyn told me
But
there's one, right? Florence, right?
yeah.
yeah.
She
Oh, do you
coming
know
back?
that?
Yeah, you were telling me about it.
Oh, I think I did. I'm so sorry,
So
Clara.
I'm going on record. Florence,
No pressure, Flo.
yeah, come back. They
No
want you back.
pressure. I mean, well, it's just, but that's a kind of great comeback. And it's a great, she's like, I can't, because we were talking about it on the bus. She's like, I can't miss the first year in world class of this group. She's been with this group forever. It's the only place she marched. She marched she tried summer, did not like it. So just like continued to march Winter Guard forever. And she's
Yeah.
really great. And she's been teaching with us and she's great with the members. So it's just a natural fit to have her back again. I mean, back again, back on the floor.
Back on the floor again.
Back on the
Have you
floor.
gotten a lot of interest now that you are going world? Have people already it's like, I think I want to come back or I want to come audition? How's that looking so far?
I mean, not to like jinx it, because you never know how,
Exactly.
but like I think our a lot of people have like reached out and asked like, oh, like, do you have an interest group? And like, oh, are you gonna like when are your auditions? And we're like, oh man, this is new.
Fun. This is
But
what it's like to be successful. Wow.
I mean, I think we've always been like successful, but this is, I think,
Yeah.
maybe one of the first times we've been like thrust into a spotlight in terms of success.
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
people who, people who might not think of like that Quebec color guard that's 6 hours away, like maybe we are on the radar now because
Yeah.
other world guards are 6 hours away and they would make the drive for them. So why not check us out too? So I think
Right.
that's kind of what people are thinking right now. Our interest group is under construction. It will
Yep.
probably launch in the next few weeks. Um, but yeah, we're getting, people are reaching out. It's been really
Yeah.
fun. A lot of people sharing our social posts and things like that.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
You did have
Good.
some American members this year. How did the American kids get interested in Third Legend, and how did you get them up there?
So, as I mentioned before, like I teach at Batavia High School Winter Guard as well. They were at Salem. Maybe you saw them. They were
I
in
saw there was
IA.
an independent group. Is it the same
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So they are a high school that
that competes in
competes in
independent?
independent.
Okay, yep,
Yeah, because they have some members from another district that's
gotcha.
kind of close but doesn't have its own group. Right after I aged out, I started teaching there. And then like obviously like I'm not teaching there full time anymore since I live in Canada now. But Aaron and Jenna, who also came up to help us this season, and Aaron was a member back in 2019, our first American member in the new
Yes,
generation, we could say.
true. Erin
Um,
paved the way.
yeah. So I think, there's a link between Third Legend and kind of like and Batavia that it helps those members kind of like be like, oh, no, it's not unrealistic to march there.
Right.
I know there's like, there's other options too in New York, but like, they kind of grown up with our style. So I think, it's just kind of like something that a lot of them think about, and some of them go ahead and make the commitment to drive up every other weekend. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of like the exchange rate helps because they're
Hmm.
the dues are like half price for them essentially. So
Oh,
they
yeah, that's
what
smart.
what
Right.
what they spend on travel, they save on dues. So I think that's like the link is kind of there. Like a lot of their staff are also involved with Third Legend, so
Mhm.
it's one of those kind of natural like, oh, my Scholastic staff is teaching at this independent group, so I'm going to go there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so, Caroline, I think you were explaining this to me. So, your American members have to abide by WGI rules, even though they're in a Canadian group. So, you were independent open, you have the age limit of 23. So, in Canada, there's no age limit, but the Americans have to abide by that rule. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. They cannot march open class if they're over 23. So they can march world class now. So that's fantastic. But they couldn't get with us if they are above their age limit on it's
That's
only
it.
us Canadians, you
Only
know.
you Canadians. Yeah.
I know we're so different.
Yeah. Y'all are too nice too. Like, you all
Yeah,
are like
well,
when
that's
when
part
I
of our
met you all.
charm, right?
It really is. Like there's always the running joke, Canadians are just so polite. And then I go to your rehearsal, I'm like, no, they really are that way. That's just how they are.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
different
bizarre.
world.
I'm sure.
So what do you want to tell us about this upcoming season? Obviously interest groups you said are getting ready to start. I think you announced some audition dates, right? I think I saw that. That might have been today or yesterday.
We announced our clinic
Clinics, I
dates.
think, right?
Clinic dates, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Did we announce our audition dates? Let me double check really
Did we? I was like,
Well, it might have been the clinics that I was seeing because I remember there were
probably,
like
yeah.
3 dates over the
quick.
summer. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we actually have 3 full weekends. Well, sorry, 2 full weekends and one Saturday clinics because we are going to have our world clinics on June, what is it? June 28th, July 26th, and August 23rd. And those are kind of oriented more towards people interested in auditioning in the fall, or people who just want kind of a more challenging, challenging choreography to learn during the clinic.
Right.
And then we'll have our more like open to everybody, all ages, all experience levels, the Sunday after. So on June 29th, July 27th, and then Saturday the 23rd is a joint clinic in August.
And assuming since you're in World, you're going to be coming to Dayton next year. At least
Oh,
that's the plan.
yes,
course.
yes, definitely. We're
Of
very
course.
excited to make
Yeah.
our world-class debut.
And are you
Yeah.
planning on sticking kind of with the same regionals? Come down to Salem, possibly Philly and Bethlehem if they have it there again.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wait to see what the calendar looks like when it comes out. I think it comes out next month, usually in June. And then we're gonna have to like compare it with our local show calendar because we don't want to like prioritize WGI over the local circuit. We want to keep you know, thinking about our community here too. But yeah, usually like we make sure that we can go to Salem or Corning and then a couple of regionals in like Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share? Any special humble brags? Anything you're just like super proud of?
I mean, it's the
Um,
first gold medal in Quebec in winter guard history. So it's pretty like
Really?
there were medals won for sure. Like shout out to all the groups, but it was the first gold medal ever.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
yeah.
I love
Um,
that little head flip you did. And people can't see it, but she was like ever like flung the hair and everything.
No, I'm just super proud. And then it's crazy that it happened on our 25th anniversary, but it's also, I feel that this was the best group of people to teach with, to teach to like, it was just a really, really special season with a special show. And yeah, it was very, no, I know, I keep saying the same thing, but
No, be proud. I always tell people be
yeah.
proud of your success. You know, you've worked hard. It's an incredible achievement. Don't downplay yourself. So yeah,
And
gush about it. Be proud.
exactly, super proud, and I cannot wait to teach the members again and start a new year in world class.
Better start working on your sevens again.
Yeah. Well, space is our now gym space we haven't talked about, like gym heights, the height, the
Oh
ceiling
yeah.
height, the height,
Yeah,
well, c'est ça, là.
the ceiling, yeah, the ceiling height.
Ceiling and the
Yeah,
height. So yeah, we're a little we'll find a solution. We're working on
yeah.
it.
Sevens can go between the rafters. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I can do sevens and sabers. It's
Yeah.
fine. But they're too low.
Just go
Flip
train with
down.
Blessed Sacrament for a couple weeks, and then you don't have to worry about the ceilings at all. You know, just super
No,
tight
exactly. But
Boston seven.
yeah, I did train East, so that's why I'm solo as well. So when I marched Caballeros, it's a lot with like a lot of SAC people, Eminon back then too, and Amp. So our
Hmm.
technique is it's
Yeah, sixes are the heights of quads, and then they still
yeah,
crack them. And
exactly. Yeah. That's why we kind of went back on we worked a lot on technique with the kids this year. So to kind of get everyone, because that's the thing too in Quebec when you get people from different backgrounds. Well, same in the States as well, though. You kind of all want them to merge together, find the sweet spot for everyone to understand
hmm
the release point and set everything to like to start off the year with all the same information. It
hmm
was a good year to do it, so it's good and it paid
Yeah,
off for sure.
it paid off.
It paid off. Yeah.
clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, anything you want to mention, talk about, bring up, brag
I
about?
mean, Carolyn mentioned the big one, but I also, a little shout out to like some of our members had never done a regional before the
True.
season. So I
So
think it's really cool that they got to kind of live a lot of firsts, a lot of like really glorious firsts when you think about it. So
yeah.
like, shout out to those members. Very happy for them. Hoping they come back.
And do you have any marching this summer right now?
Yeah, we have Emily
Emily and
and
Jillian
Jillian are at Troopers,
Coopers.
and we have Heather at Spartan.
And Spartans got moved up to world class this year, right?
I think did they get moved up this year, or is it like their
Not this
plan is
year.
to move
They're
up?
like they have like they're doing Allentown to kind of test the waters. I feel
Mm.
that's not how they call it, but definitely to kind of see where they could go in world class. But
They're pretty much there.
yeah.
We can put it that
And
way.
after two gold medals, is that it?
The two gold medals, and I mean, you look at their production value and everything,
It is.
it's
Yeah,
right up
exactly.
there.
Yeah.
And then actually one of our, I don't know if it's official, but I think one of our A members is marching with Stock Horse this summer.
Oh, Yay, I'm
Stantor's
excited.
is the drum corps here in
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Quebec. Going strong.
awesome.
Getting better and better, right?
Well, you
All
need
right.
to. It's fun. Like that's the one thing that we can't force them to do. I wish
Just
I
drop them
wish
off.
everyone was just marching in the summer because it builds, the stamina and the because you spin every day, your hands
Mhm.
just get so used to it and you just get so confident in your technique and your tosses and your like you just get that extra.
It makes
It's
you so
also
much stronger. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, but
And my first year at Kiwanis, when we did the Miss
yeah,
Saigon year, I mean,
yeah.
I was maybe throwing quads, at my high school. And then I show up
Oh,
and they're like, "Oh, you're on the rifle line." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I get to rifle block and they're like, "All right, we're throwing sixes." I'm like, and you just figure it out, right? And
you figure it out. I
I went
didn't used
home
to have
throwing six.
Derek.
Yeah.
You got really good then by the second year because I do not remember you like not tossing fives and sixes.
Yeah, I grew a lot that first year of drum corps because it's
Oh
just,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, even when I went back, my instructors were like, "Whoa." And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
they
we
beat it into
started.
me.
Yeah. It's the propellers.
Oh God,
The
those
big
propellers.
that we had to carry from like it was so heavy, Kevin. So heavy.
And those
But
I believe
giant
it.
like 8 foot swing flags that we spun at the beginning,
oh
those giant bed sheet flags,
Oh
yeah.
my
they
God.
were so heavy.
They were so heavy but so beautiful though.
Yeah. That we spun for all of 15 seconds and then didn't make it on the video.
It didn't make it on a video, so no one had like
So no
it.
one knows about it.
Nope.
No,
It's
exactly, and it
lost to
had like the
history.
Miss Saigon for those who know like the
The musical
visual,
logo. Yeah.
yeah, the
The
musical logo. It has like this visual is super pretty. It's like, but nope, they feel. I think that the DCI shot is David, which is a Quebecer as well, like doing the lift. Uh,
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, it's I'm like, no, that's not what you needed to. I
I
mean,
always hate the multicam. I always
David,
hate the
not,
multicam.
not that it's you, but it's just you needed a bigger shot
Yeah.
with all the gigantic swing flags.
And I have Luminosa right back here. I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I'm gonna find Kevin because I have
Well,
2012.
you're gonna find him because
Yeah.
there's
That
two,
was it. Was
Three
that like
guys.
three guys. Okay.
the pink shirt, or was it like was it the cancer
No,
show?
no, it was the 2012 was the cancer show.
Okay.
2013 was the heart on the floor, and the boys were in a black t-shirt and black jazz pants.
Of course.
What and so that's when you won A, or were you an
Yeah,
open?
yeah.
Yeah.
In 2013 we won A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think I have 2013 A. I know I have
Yeah.
2012 because I know I've seen the cancer show, so I know that. Yeah.
The member on the cover was one of our members. She does like a walkover five on
Oh,
rifle.
cool. I'm on one of the Cavies DVDs covers. I'm like, yep, that's me.
Oh, nice.
I'm on one of the old school ones for the 90s. I'm with Lazy Clips. We see me like briefly. They made some videos with like the top whatever 90s show, and I
Hmm.
made the cover on that one. So
Nice.
see, we all have our special.
Little claim to fame.
Exactly.
I do have one final question for you all, and it's just a fun question I've been asking everybody of what your favorite show from Dayton was this past year.
Oh my gosh, there were so many good shows.
It's really hard. I think it was such a good year. I mean,
Some people have been
I mean,
picking a Scholastic and an Independent, so they don't have to pick one. But
Oh,
okay,
right.
I can
That's
do that.
smart.
I can do that.
That's
Yeah,
smart.
because I
Um,
think Arcadia stood out for me as a really, really cool show. I mean, like the way they used like the octopus tentacles and everything, loved it.
really cool.
And then, I mean, juxtaposition just
Mhm.
felt really like we were in really great seats for finals and watching them at like the run of their lives in
I
world class
know.
finals was just so it was so cool. Like their show, like I already loved their show, but watching them really enjoy performing it like that close was just like another experience.
They had some pretty innovative moments in there, like stuff
Mhm.
Yeah,
that we hadn't
like that
seen.
flag feature where they're all like lifted was
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
that stood out to me. But I also enjoyed Paramount a whole lot because like when I
Hmm.
watch a show, I need to feel things. I think it's my theater background taking over, and I need to understand and they just brought so much. Yeah, the song. I think that them fake shouting. I don't know.
Hmm.
Oh, that got to me every time. It was like, it was so
Yeah.
good for me. I think it was one of my favorite shows. But then I love A Class. So what was the group that we saw at the
Oh, homage.
oh yeah, I love them. It
The
was
yeah,
so good.
so
Oh my
good.
gosh, I love their show.
Yeah,
So
they won, right?
Yeah, Homage 1. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a very good one as well. All
yeah.
right.
I just want to give a quick shout out to our consultant Becca. I
Oh,
didn't mention her during the staff part, but like she was such a great teacher, mentor, and like support for I think the whole staff and the members this season. And
absolutely.
then also obviously Vincent, who treats Third Legend like a second full-time job. Um, didn't get to talk too much about what he does, but the answer is everything. So
Everything. And
like he's
yeah, we can attribute most of the success to him for sure.
yeah, he's
I invited him
constantly
on, but he
working.
was like, I'll have Kevin do it. I think he's just, he was a
He's
little
kind
shy
of
about it.
shy.
So,
He's kind of
He's
shy and he's
he's
gonna shy away from all this, but Kevin is right. He does so much, and
yeah,
it was great to see him work with and you two with Becca and how it all unfolded, and yeah, it was
yeah. I mean, he's
a
probably
large
working right
job.
now, I'll be honest. He's
Hmm?
probably working on like
Right.
a banner or
Oh,
the interest
absolutely.
group or
Yeah.
something, so
Yeah.
never stops, never stops.
never stops.
Well, we look forward to seeing you all in World Class this year. I know we can follow you on Instagram. It's 3E legend with an E on the end. Because obviously it's French spelling, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
and any other place they can follow you, Facebook, TikTok, or do you
Yeah,
have a website, correct?
yeah, we have a website. It's again 3E legend with an E at the end .org. That's our website. We have a TikTok. It's actually in English, Third Legend underscore official. Um, we're working on getting more videos on there. And yeah, and then Facebook and Instagram, it's Troisième Legend, so
Wasn't it
3E
wrong?
legend with an E. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, follow us. We'll be updating our summer schedule. We'll be posting about our adventure in world class and also about our feeder groups, our younger groups who the supports we stand on, right? So
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
thank you for
Thanks to
having us.
you for the invite. That's so nice.
We love your podcast.
Yeah, we do. We love you. And I missed you. So I'm so happy to have, see you after what, 20 plus years?
I think it was, we saw it in 2001, so
2001.
24 years.
4 years. Oh my gosh, we're so old.
We are old.
Wow.
We are old, I know.
And that's it for today's episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode, maybe sooner depending on DCI schedules. Also, I'm working on a couple special projects that I hope to announce in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. So until then, stay safe, stay fabulous, and remember, at the end of the day, it's just flags in a gym.